and welcome to another episode of the We Don't Wanna podcast. This is the show where two certified dipshits make uncertified takes about your favorite series. We are your hosts. I am Scott, and joining me as always, this is Zach. He's king of the douchebags.
What?
Well, you're sure as shit not king of the north, so, you know, I had to come up with something different for you. King of the douchebags seemed
Okay.
very appropriate.
All right.
Know?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Goated line by goated character.
Truly.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Truly. How are you doing this week, my guy?
I'm
king.
I'm doing okay, man. It's interesting. We had a short week because of Juneteenth on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And despite having a short week, man, I had a lot going on work-wise, so definitely felt a little just a little overwhelmed, a little stressed out this week.
Zachy boy's been some little stressy stress lately.
Yeah, I mean it's just been kind of a lot of stuff going on. It's good stuff. I've been put in charge of more, which I'm thankful for. I really like the stuff I'm working on. It's just taking up a lot of time. Workload has been a lot, and yeah, and you guys actually saw the results of that because we postponed an episode this week. So thank you everybody for your patience and that whole thing. But otherwise, I'm doing good. I do have a kind of a funny story to tell.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's not really funny. It's kind of fucked up, but
even better.
Yeah. Well, you and I already talked about this, but
okay.
But I just need to fill the people in. So the other day, Amanda was at work. And she's carrying some product to her car.
Not funny.
It's kind of funny though. Well, it's funny because of the follow up here.
Okay.
So Amanda's carrying out some product to her car. She's gonna take it to one of the other locations, and she steps off the curb and rolls the absolute shit out of her ankle. Like we were worried about it being broken. She couldn't step on it, couldn't move her toes. I
thought you said there was a small, a hairline fracture.
Well, no. So they're still going to observe for that. So the X-rays didn't show any actual break, but the doctor was like, we need to give it a week or two because hairline fractures take a while to appear, or they can take a while to appear.
Okay.
She's been able to put some weight on it and has some mobility back. So I think she's okay. I think it's just a really bad sprain, but she has a follow-up on Monday. Anyway, that's all sad and fine and whatever.
Fine and whatever.
Poor baby. That's my wife. She's freaking out.
Bro.
She's
Goddamn.
so hurt and she I never see her in a state where she's not capable of doing things physically. She's just she's always got her shit together, so it's definitely hey, you're broken right now. You can't do anything, which is kind of fucked up, but also kind of funny. But really, the icing on the cake here is how much shit you guys and her specifically, my entire life, have given me for being a clumsy shitbag who rolls his ankles. Because look, jokes aside, I do legitimately, I am the guy that I can be just standing, not even walking, and just my ankle will just
this is
just roll.
This is not an exaggeration,
So
not a bit.
dumb.
I have literally observed Zachary's ankle rolling while he's standing still.
It's so fucking
just
dumb.
standing there, just and listen, we joke and we laugh, but anyone that's rolled their ankle badly knows
it sucks.
It sucks, and just
fucking
that
sucks.
awful feeling of you feeling it start to happen, and that just it's just it's the worst.
Dude,
It's the worst.
absolutely. So it's just, I almost feel vindicated.
Don't say what. I was I know he's gonna say vindicated, but don't say that. That's okay. Yeah, you say that. You brought this up as oh, this is a funny story. I genuinely feel so bad for Amanda because you're right.
It sucks.
She is super capable and always has her shit together, and now she's just got
not.
this fucked up ankle, and that sucks. That sounds, the way you first described to me, it sounded so painful, and I listen.
Yeah.
I know that can be very painful. I've been there myself. Probably not as bad to her extent, thankfully, but Yeah, get well soon, Amanda, because yeah, that shit is not fun.
Yeah, it's not tight. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's how our week's been going.
Yeah.
It's been fine. And also lots of Diablo time with you and Chazzy Boy, and it's been great.
We've been playing that Diablo. It's a pretty good time. So
but I should probably stop talking about my week because these season 7 episodes have gone a little longer than we've wanted.
Hell yeah.
More because like there's just more shit to talk shit about.
Yeah. We do tend to talk longer when we're shit talking, and I don't know what that's about.
Well, I think it's just there's more to actually pick apart and like discuss why we don't like it, you know?
Sure.
Whereas when things are good, it's like, oh my god, it's good. But, you know, jizz and then
jizz and gush and
but
and that's right. You heard me.
Gush and jizz. That's going on a shirt. Anyway, how are you doing this week?
Oh, I'm great. I made probably the bitchinest stew I've ever made in my life, ever had in my life. That shit went crazy.
I got some photos of this stew, and it did look pretty bitchin'.
I made a whole fucking pressure cooker. Like, I swear, like, for any of you out there that don't have, like, a pressure cooker, that shit's like a cheat code. That is like a cooking cheat code. Get you one of those. It makes shit delicious and fast and easy.
Interesting.
I made a whole batch of that shit and I ate it for like 6 meals straight. And do I regret anything? Abso-fucking-lutely not. Tastes amazing.
Okay.
And that's been pretty much my week. Just eating stew and playing Diablo,
Hell
baby.
yeah. Well, hold on. I do need to pry on some things that we haven't shared with the listeners.
Okay.
You beat Zelda.
Oh yeah, I did. That was like a week ago.
I know, but you know, we haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
How was that?
It's amazing. It's one of the greatest video games I've ever played in my life. It's phenomenal. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's like basically nothing bad I can say about it. It's, you know,
interesting.
If anybody out there played Breath of the Wild or enjoys them a good Zelda game, they probably know they should probably play it.
Right.
So,
well, fuck yeah, that's exciting. I mean, I too am playing the game, but I'm going very slow.
Yeah.
Kind of just playing when I have some downtime and just kind of fucking around. It is beautiful.
Leisurely ass over here.
Yeah, leisure ass Zach was my nickname in high school.
True.
Anyway, yeah, it's a fun game. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And honestly, like I'm always interested in Zelda storylines, but hearing you talk about it has made me be like, all right, I really need to just like get my shit together and play through this fucking game.
Yeah, listen, Zelda stories are never really like the main draw of those games. Like they're always generally good, but they're not like earth-shattering usually. And I'm not saying this one is, but I would say it's better than most. Like Like really good Zelda stories, I immediately think of like Majora's Mask and Link's Awakening.
Majora's Mask is goated.
Right. As ones that stand out, and I would say this one would probably be
Wind Waker's pretty up there too, though, dude.
Wind Waker is. I love Wind Waker just for the end when I don't know if I should. Well, it's like a 20-year-old.
I mean, yeah, dude, come on.
When Link jumps like 30 feet into the air and shoves his sword directly through Ganon's skull.
Yeah.
Is just the greatest thing ever.
It's fucking great, dude.
And super cartoony graphics also. Yeah, that game rules. But yes, this story was very good. I would say above average for Zelda.
Do you remember that weird period of time where people did not like Wind Waker?
Yes. Oh, yes.
And now people have come around on it.
Oh, yeah.
Like the community has...
Well, that
for the most part.
Yes, that art style has held up very well.
Oh, yeah.
Because of course it did, and that's what people just didn't fail to understand because they were all fucking edgelord cringe lords that wanted dark Zelda back then.
Right.
But anyway,
we're talking Game of Thrones.
Yeah, let's talk about Game of Thrones. This is season 7, episode 3, The Queen's Justice. Zachary, why don't you kick us off here?
You're gonna have to stop me, by the way, because I don't.
I'll just yell stop. Really?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we began at Dragonstone, where Jon and Davos have arrived. Jon and Tyrion catch up and reminisce, and Davos flirts with Missandei. What A legend.
What a legend, truly. Yeah.
Varys confronts Mel about why she's hiding from Jon and Davos, and she admits that they did not part on good terms. She says she's going to Volantis, when Varys subtly threatens her, but says she will be back, for she and Varys both must die in Westeros. So this is the first time we've heard that.
Yeah.
Jon stands before Daenerys, and she immediately picks a fight by calling him Lord instead of King. The disrespect. Put some respect on that name. She tells him to bend the knee, and she'll make him Warden of the North. Jon says no, but that they need each other's help. Jon explains that the true enemy is the White Walkers and the army of the dead, but Daenerys does not believe him. Davos and Jon give 6 speeches, per usual. Then Varys trots in and tells Daenerys that they need to speak in private. He gives the news of the attack on their fleet and somewhere at sea. Sorry, that fucked me up. And somewhere at sea, Theon is rescued by some of their allies that also escaped. In King's Landing, Euron parades his captives through the city to the throne room and presents them to Cersei. She tells him that she will grant his wish of marriage when the war is won. Cersei gets revenge by using the same poison to kill Illyria's daughter as she used to kill Myrcella. This, of course, makes Cersei mad horny. Dude, I fucking thought this makes Cersei mad horny, and she does the dirty with Jaime and wants everyone to know.
Everyone.
It must have been so good because she even wanted people to know about it in the morning. Yeah. So good for them. She then meets with the representative of the Iron Bank and talks them into backing her instead of Daenerys, saying her debt will be paid in full soon.
Stop. Good job, buddy.
Thanks, pal.
Back at Dragonstone, Tyrion chats with Jon about
what are you, fucking common?
Yeah, apparently.
My favorite character, Tyrion, over here.
Tyrion and Jon. I just wanted it to rhyme.
Okay.
Tyrion chants. Jeez, I give up. You just have to read the. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
Tyrion chats with Jon about their shared problems. Tyrion tells Jon he believes him about the army of the dead and wants to help. Tyrion speaks with Daenerys about the possibility of allying with the North since they just lost 2 other allies. Daenerys then speaks with Jon and says she'll let him mine the Dragonglass. At Winterfell, Sansa prepares for winter and possible attack, while Littlefinger pretends to be like, I don't know, Doctor Strange or something. Weirdo Bran then shows up and is like, sup, before creeping the hell out of Sansa.
That's so good.
At the Citadel, he's cosplaying. He's cosplaying Doctor Strange.
Even has the white in his hair, too.
Fight every battle everywhere.
In your head, everything's happening.
At the Citadel, Archmaester Ebrose says Jorah is cured and free to go, so he shares a tender farewell with Sam. Ebrose confronts Sam about treating Jorah, but says she should be proud and doesn't kick him out of the Citadel. Back on Dragonstone, Daenerys wants to take her dragons and destroy Euron's fleet, but her advisors say it's too great a risk to her. Tyrion then tells them about his plan to take Casterly Rock by using a secret passage in the sewers. Grey Worm and the Unsullied do indeed take the rock, but most of the Lannister army is not there. They are marching to take Highgarden instead, while Euron destroys the fleet that brought the Unsullied to Casterly Rock. Jaime chats with Olenna in her room after taking Highgarden, and offers her poisoned wine as the easy way out instead of being tortured by Cersei. Olenna remains a legend to the very end, roasting Jaime and telling him that she was responsible for Joffrey's death and wants Cersei to know. And that is the end of Season 7, Episode 3, The Queen's Justice. Boy, Cersei got a lot of justice this episode, huh?
Dude, yeah, I mean, if justice is the nickname for Jaime's dick, then yeah.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah, you read my
Hell
mind.
Yeah,
exactly
dude.
what I meant.
It's like, hey, Jaime, what's the name of your sword? Widow's Wail. No, the other one.
Justice. Your other sword. Justice. And he always says it in the Batman voice. Justice.
Where is he? Where is he?
Where is Justice? I was in the pool.
Fuck.
Let's talk about this episode, Zach, because a hot take. I quite like this episode.
All right. So first off, well, I was gonna say that you and I need to stop being the same person, but also I feel like we've kind of disagreed on the last 2 episodes on our takes. We've agreed that they're not good Game of Thrones episodes, but you've definitely been more down on them.
For sure, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that this, and see, I can't really tell, and I'm actually very excited to talk with you about this. I can't tell if I think that this episode is in contrast better, or if it's just like a solid episode, you know?
That's a good point. Like, especially comparatively to what we've just been through for a season 7 episode like this, far and away. I mean, we're only 3 episodes in.
Sure.
Easily the best episode of season 7.
So far, yeah, for sure.
And I think I was going to talk about this at the end, but I was thinking a lot about how I think we have absolutely fucked up our rating system because I keep forgetting that we're supposed to be rating them compared to other Game of Thrones episodes and not compared to just all television.
Don't bring that up, dude. People have forgotten. We're just doing what we do, man.
Doing what we do. Because honestly, those first 2 episodes should have been like a 1 and a 2, probably.
If we were going based off of just Game of Thrones, probably. If we were being considerate of that, we probably would have been a little harder on those ratings. But
despite the fact that our rating system is fucked, Let's talk about this episode.
Okay.
So we start with Jon and Davos arriving.
Okay.
They immediately, take all their weapons and they even just like walk away with the entire boat, which is very funny. They're just like, this shit is ours now.
There's a couple moments of like some humor that I was like, hey, this kind of landed.
Yeah.
Like, in this episode, where like the past couple episodes, the humor has been getting to me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But some of it works here, and I think it just might be the characters that are involved.
I would say most of the humor in this episode lands, with maybe one exception that I can think of off the top of my head.
Sure.
But it's like this is like, it's not even like really super meant to be sold as humor. It's like, like a little menacing and like, oh, this is like serious business. They're taking our boat. But it's also just like the look on Davos and Jon's faces and just the fact that
and the fact that it's just happening in silence.
Yeah. Just walking away with the boat. Like, it's very good. Also, of course, Davos just immediately deciding like, hey, hello, let me chat this gal up. What's going on? How are you doing?
Can you blame the guy?
No, of course not. He's a fucking legend.
Man. He's a legend, truly.
We love Davos.
Yeah. And also, Missandei doing the hard to get. Oh man.
Yeah, she'll come around to Davos.
I mean, everybody comes around to Davos, but
should come around to Davos. What do you have to say about these scenes?
Yeah, I do. So a couple notes here. I love the Jon Tyrion reunion.
Yes,
it's just nice. Like two very likable characters who have been fan favorites for a very long time, finally reuniting. And it's almost immediately back to their like playful banter.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love it. Like, There's nothing monumental about it. There's nothing like that's like, ooh, that was deep or that was good. But it's just like so nice to just see them hanging out. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like, like Jon comments on Tyrion's scars.
Right.
They chat. I think it's later when they actually chat about like, oh, it's a long and bloody story, but I was drunk for most of it. And it just feels like this feels right for these characters.
Right.
And it's good to see again, for sure.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, what do you think about this Varys Mel?
Are you fucking me, dude?
I mean, that's literally what happens next.
Well, no, I know, but my notes are literally written. I need to ask Scott how he feels about this Mel Varys.
Yeah, we do need to stop being the same person. I think this tracks. I do not recall this happening.
I don't. I mean, I remember so little about this season.
Right.
But yeah, I don't remember it happening. And there's one thing particular. I mean, it's kind of the point of this conversation, I feel. But like, there's one thing in specific that I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this, like, based off of like who her character is, like, and specifically like Mel admitting that she made a mistake. It might be a throwaway. People might not give a shit. I am curious, like, some of the character decisions.
Yeah.
And like, is she questioning her?
Well,
I guess like her religion.
No, I think she knows she made a mistake about Stannis specifically, and a lot of the stuff that went into that whole thing, and like just judging by the way like she reacted when Davos confronted her about burning Shireen, and you know she's like she was holding the stag, and you know like she looked sorrowful. Like I think that portion of it at the very least, like she feels she read the signs wrong, or you know whatever.
Okay.
So that I think she realizes she did make a mistake. Not that it has like broken her faith.
Sure.
But that you know, now she believes in Jon Snow. So
yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a pretty good take. There was my knee-jerk reaction was like, is this true to character? Sure. You know, like Mel seems like double, triple, quadruple down on decisions made in the name of the Lord of Light. Sure. You know? And so I like, obviously you want to see progress in characters, so like a change in her, I guess the way that she's thinking about it is totally fine. I was just like, what does it actually mean? Like, right. You know, whatever. Anyway, and then the other thing here is, like, please correct me if I'm wrong, but Varys and Mel have never met before, right?
I mean, they met when Mel got to Dragonstone, like last episode or the episode before.
Okay, right, but like prior to Dragonstone.
I don't think so, no.
I'm very confused about Varys's like threat ? Well,
we know he does not like her or trust her.
Simply because she's a priestess of the Red God?
Well, no, because, well, yes, he hates magic. We know that.
Sure.
And when she showed up at Dragonstone, he like was like calling her ass out and was like, "Oh yeah, you used to work for Stannis, huh? And you did this." He does not like.
Okay, I guess that's fair.
Red religion.
My knee jerk was like, this seems a little heavy handed for Varys.
No, I think you're just forgetting like.
Okay, all right. You're probably
happened.
Right. I've got to be honest with you, dude. I'm realizing this as we're talking about it now. I'm finding it a little harder to like think deeper and more critically about these characters in season 7, because it's like I already just feel like so much doesn't track. Sure. Like so much is just kind of derailed in some aspects, and some of like the thoughtfulness like behind some of the characters has been kind of derailed, that I think it's my immediate reaction.
You're just questioning everything now.
I think that might be, and that's a me issue. That's not inherently a season 7 issue, but whatever. No, anyway, go.
I think this is fine for Varys. I just, again, like we talked about, we've forgotten a lot about these last 2 seasons. Right. I don't remember her going back to Volantis, and I don't remember her coming back. Like I'm trying to remember where and how her character ends up. I know what happens with Varys, but I can't recall with her. So
you don't remember?
No, I mean, don't say it, obviously.
No, sure, right, okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, anyway,
I was just thinking about that. Anyway, Jon and Daenerys, the throne room scene. We need to talk about this.
We do. I wonder if we're gonna have the same take here.
So, my take is, and then you could tell me yours.
Okay.
The Missandei Davos like titles bit, like Missandei going through like her 17 million titles.
Sure.
And then, you know, Davos being like, "Hey, this is Jon Snow. He's king in the North."
And Tyrion smirk. The Tyrion smirk seals it. There.
Yes, also very good. But it's just like, if this isn't a pure distillation of why Daenerys is cringe and why Jon rules, like, I don't know I don't know what else is.
Sure.
Like, this is everything. This is like a perfect, like, microcosm of, hey,
who are these people?
Right. Who are these people? Jon is that cool, reluctant hero, like, you know, thrust into position of leadership, even though he didn't necessarily want it. And Daenerys is like, gimme, 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 gimme. I need all the titles. I'm the coolest cat around.
Yes.
And I love the scene. I love specifically the Davos interaction bit.
Okay, so you don't like the rest of the scene?
No. I'm just talking about this first part for now.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's very funny, and perfectly delivered by Davos, because he's just so, like, not an at court type of person.
No.
But he's just like the king of the north.
Yeah, the dude is a commoner. Like, he was born in Flea Bottom, as he's told us a million times.
Yeah.
You know, he's not really supposed to be here, but he is, because he's very good at knowing people and advising people. Yeah. Specifically the rest of the scene. Will you tell me what you want to say about it first?
Yeah. So, I think this is a great scene.
I think the scene is good.
There are some sections where my distaste for Daenerys are packed in and compartmentalized to, like, I don't like this character, but that like I think are, like, glaringly obvious. Like, they really show, you know, the things that I don't like about Daenerys really show themselves in this interaction.
Yes.
However, taking that bias and my own, you know, way of thinking about Daenerys aside, it's very true to character.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were in Daenerys' shoes with those motives, I don't think that anything that she's doing is necessarily wrong, or at the very least not to be expected. You know, like,
sure.
And they're back and forth, how they're kind of, like, testing each other at first, like, you know, she's obviously trying to throw her weight around. Jon is a little reluctant, but you see this kind of, like, cool ebb and flow with their conversation, kind of push and pull. And then finally at the end, like, when she finally gets up off the throne and walks down to him, they talk a little more. It becomes a little bit more intimate and real. And he's like, dude, like, I'm going to just lay it on and be like, I don't agree with any of this. I'm the fucking king in the north. Like, I just really liked the way that this interaction moved.
Sure.
And I thought it was done very well.
I don't disagree with you at all. Like, I think everything you're saying is correct. I guess I'm just viewing it in a different way of, like, yeah, this scene is cool and these characters are true to who they are, in that, oh, this scene is a perfect example of everything I hate about Daenerys.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
and also why she could never be a good ruler, might I add.
Yeah, there is one specific thing that hold on, I have it written out here. The one section of Daenerys' speech, like when she's talking about having faith in herself, powerful. I like that.
I'd say that's the one good thing she does.
She's like, I've been through this, I've been through this, I've been through this, like, which they're all true and very warranted for her to have this belief and trust in herself. And the way she delivers it, powerful.
Yeah.
It in that moment makes me go, damn, that, like, hey, dude, like, that's good on you. You know,
if only the rest of the scene, she wasn't being super petty, like, easily offended, super hypocritical, I might add.
Yeah, so immediately, like, okay, dude.
So hypocritical.
There's this point where I'm enjoying the scene, and I'm taking notes, specifically being like, wow, this is good. Like, they're playing it well. Dany is a bit much, but, like, warranted. I can see why any person in her position trying to accomplish what she's trying to accomplish would approach this situation like this. And then Jon makes the whole comment about, like, we're children playing in a war, you know, or whatever the fuck he says. And then she just snaps. She looks right at Tyrion and like talks about Jon in front of
so disrespectful.
And just such a child about it.
Yes. Also,
which is funny because she's pissed at him calling her a child.
The irony is off the scales.
It's so funny, dude.
She literally goes off on this whole tirade about how don't hold my father's sins against me and blah, 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 blah. And then 10 seconds later, the first part of her getting up off the throne is she goes, your father was best friends with Robert Baratheon.
Right.
Do you know how many assassins he sent after me and this and that? And I'm like, you just told him not to hold you accountable for your father's sins, and now you're trying to hold him accountable for not his father's sins, for his father's best friend's sins.
Right.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah, it's so insane because it's moments like this that are like, well, one, that Dany stands will just hear none of this.
They ignore this shit.
They ignore this shit.
Yeah.
But like, I can't understand how. Actually, hold on. I'd like to take a step back here. I am curious. I mean, I know what your answer is going to be, but I'm still going to ask you.
Sure.
Is that this whole hypocrisy thing that you're highlighting, which is true, and very accurate? Is that a failure on the writer's part, or is that a Daenerys? Is that like, no, that's Daenerys?
No,
like
I think that's who she is.
Okay.
I don't think that's I think,
like
we talked about, I don't like Daenerys in this scene, but I think the scene is well written. Like, I think mostly this is true to character and who these characters are.
Okay.
Like with Jon not being like the best at words for like a large portion of it, and then he kind of just like you said, gets exasperated and just kind of just kind of lets it all out from the heart, like not very tactful, but just like it's honest, you know? Like, I think pretty much everybody is who they are supposed to be and who they have been to this point.
Sure. Okay.
Also, I want to point out that Jon has been calling her Your Grace like the entire time. And she tells Tyrion he won't call me a queen. And I'm like, he's been calling you Your Grace. What are you talking about?
I think it's things like that like, okay, so I mean we could dive in and be like, oh, like, you know, the what am I trying to say here? Like the psychology of the way that she's taking this is that like she, like, that's to be expected. So like that doesn't seem like him taking an extra step in respect or whatever, or like saying outright that you're the queen. And I get that, but like that is another example of where like that just doesn't seem very thoughtful for the writers to make that an issue.
Right. Here's what I was gonna say. The most generous reading of this scene for Daenerys is that she is playing the game, that she's trying to, assert
she's
her
not
dominance,
had to politic before.
Assert her authority, and put this, rebellious kingdom in its place.
Sure.
That is like the most generous reading of this, but it's moments like when she breaks and turns to Tyrion and starts, being all petty and shit in front of Jon. It's like that doesn't really hold up.
Right.
But if you really want to be generous to Daenerys, like you can say that, she's just politicking, She's trying to assert her authority and her, a dominance, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think both can be true. Like they're not completely different. Like she is politicking. Sure. She is doing what she feels needs to be done. It's just when you hold her actions, her demeanor, and her, I guess, just like overall thought process compared to any other character that may be in that same position, it's just like this could have gone down a lot of different ways that would be like respectable, and yeah, I just can't get over the fact that like watching this go down, although it is a great scene, it's like watching a grown-up have a conversation with a child.
Yeah. No, 100%. Something I would like to, this just popped into my head, and the idea is not fully fledged, so please forgive me, but
Sure.
Sometime down the line, I would love to do like a cross analysis of, oh man, my memory is terrible. What is it? Rhaenyra from House of the Dragon?
Yeah, Rhaenyra.
Like some of her like, scenes where she had to like do the politicking, compared with Daenerys to show like, oh no, this is how it's actually done.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can see that, but also Rhaenyra was kind of an idiot too.
Yes, but I'm thinking
she commands a scene and works people way better than Daenerys does.
Yes, like especially late in the season.
Yeah.
I'm thinking specifically more, but like I said, that just kind of occurred to me because
and it's interesting to me too. Like, I'm so glad you brought that up. I wouldn't have thought to even talk about this, but like making that comparison, Rhaenyra to Dany, like for the most part, it's the Dany stans that love Rhaenyra. And it's like, how do you not see the stark contrast between the two characters? Like there are things to like about Daenerys. I mean, like I'm going to show a little humility here, and we've talked about it before. Like she does things that are inherently good, like the freedom of slaves for sure. She's had some major triumphs, and she is young, trying to kind of find her way and stumble across like getting to where she wants to be. But it does not, like, that just is not able to eclipse the other things for me, who I like to try and take somebody's full character into account,
right?
Not just the things I like,
for sure.
So
I love the way Varys like half runs in, by the way. Like, with his hands in his little thing. He does like his little like he's trying to, he's like power walking and like half trotting for a second.
Oh shit.
It's so good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Should we just finish all the Dragonstone stuff while we're here?
We probably should, because we're like 45 minutes into this episode and we're still on the first scene.
Fucking hell. No, not quite that long, but you're not wrong. So oh, by the way, the Davos and Jon speeches, like, I don't have anything exact from what they were saying, but they're both just good, as they always are.
Yeah, the only note I have is like I really like the like Davos speaking up for Jon and prettying up what Jon is like, prettying up a case for Jon.
Right.
And then him about to say like, he died for his, whatever, and Jon like looks over at him like, yo, Ixnay on the fucking
right, which I think is the right call, because he's already like, a tough ask is trying to get them to believe that there's an army of the dead and White Walkers coming. So you don't need to pile, hey, I've also been resurrected, on top of that. By the way,
I agree with that. Like for the belief side of it, like it's like okay, guy,
yeah,
you were
sure,
resurrected.
You have.
But also, I just kind of feel like that's something that's just a little more personal to Jon.
Sure, that too.
For sure.
Anyway,
moving.
Let's see what happens. So yeah, Tyrion and Jon then have their little chat. Where Tyrion basically says like, "Hey, you figure out how I fucked up, and maybe I'll figure out your White Walker shit."
Yeah.
And Tyrion tells Jon he believes him. He's like, "Listen, Mormont wasn't a liar. You're not a liar. I kind of have no choice but to."
I take this. It's almost I have no choice, but I definitely take it more of like he trusts Jon rather than he like believes what's happening.
Yes. Because what does he say specifically? Something to the effect of like, it's better to trust a trustworthy man than trust what everybody knows, or something like that.
Sure, I don't remember, but yeah, sure.
He said something.
Yeah, he said something great. I like their banter. I like that Jon's like, dude, I'm not fucking playing word games with you, man. Like, come on, bro.
Jon is so over it at this point. He's like, am I a prisoner? Like, you took my boat, dude. They literally just walked away with it.
I also feel like the beginning of this episode has showed us. I mean, it's done it a little bit in the past episodes too, but like, whether it's a Benioff and Wise decision or like just writers having a little bit more fun with things, but I feel like the show is kind of showing like it's aware of itself in some ways.
Yeah.
Like one thing with like the Daenerys titles and the Jon, like that.
Yeah.
It's a very like self-aware exchange. And then the brooding thing about Jon.
Yes, yeah,
like,
I was just thinking that.
Your brooding makes me like feel like I'm brooding wrong.
You're a very sexy brooder, my guy. You're so sexy when you brood.
Yeah. It's almost, it's so, they got to be careful with that because it does kind of like tiptoe on like this is kind of gimmicky and fan servicey, but also it is funny though.
Yeah, these two instances are like, I think, subtle enough to where they work.
Sure.
They're not always this...
Right.
I don't even know if subtle is the right word, but it's like they don't go too hard on it. It's just like one little comment about it and it's done. You know, like,
right.
That's fine. Can we talk about this, like, oh, I'm mad at you and I don't like you flirting that starts to happen between Jon and Daenerys here, though? Where they start talking and they're like, you know, actually, you're kind of hot as shit.
I mean, it's, man, you know, I'm trying to like put myself into the same mind that I was like when this was coming out, because, you know, there's so many theories and ideas about like what's going to happen when they meet, you know, and
right.
Are they going to align? Are they going to be enemies? Are they going to like each other? Or, you know, whatever. Are they going to pass notes in class? Like, is this going to be, like, what is this going to be? And, like, I have a feeling that most people assumed that they would be, like, there would be a little bit of that weird tension between them.
Yeah.
And just finally seeing it, because we've never seen them on screen together.
Right.
I like Emilia Clarke and Kit Harington on screen together. They're enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure. I got no problems with this.
I wish Danny was a little more enjoyable.
Yes.
But I do really like them on screen together. I mean,
I agree. And in this scene, she's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, she's reasonable. She listens. She acquiesces to, you know, letting what Tyrion says. And
I especially like the silence, and she's like, well, I'm not getting anywhere. You can mine the dragon glass. It's very good. And Jon's like,
also,
you've been talking with Tyrion.
Yeah. Also, just a small character moment for Jon, but just him saying he doesn't enjoy what he's good at.
Yeah, great.
Very good. Just a little small nod to his character.
Great.
Which is good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people may kind of roll their eyes at stuff like that. Like the people that like Danny probably roll their eyes with Jon the way that we do, because it's like, oh, he's just so, like emo and fucking sad about it. And,
I'm good at killing. That's all I can do.
Yeah. I don't like leading, but
I don't
good
like
at it.
leading.
Yeah.
I like brooding. But I'm so sexy at it. Curse me and my sexiness.
Yeah, dude. Anyway.
I just discovered I have a Jon Snow voice.
No, I mean,
it was pretty good.
We'll let you
it was
think
pretty
that.
Good. Hey, remember when I used to do voices all the time?
Dude, all right. Rate Scott's Jon voice.
Let me know
out of 10 in the comments or
Let me know if I should bring back all the voices.
No, please don't.
I'm so sexy when I brood.
That's so bad, dude.
I think that's most of the Dragonstone stuff.
That's Dragonstone.
We'll come back briefly when we get to the end, but let's talk about King's Landing.
Oh boy.
Euron has his little captive parade, whatever.
Dude, hold on. How long did that fucking trot through the city last?
Oh, way too.
That was like 3 minutes of screen time of him just walking through the city
and talking about how hard he is.
Yeah, like,
this guy sucks.
Dude, I know I mentioned this already, but like the dick jokes are really getting to me. I wonder if this is how our listeners feel.
Probably. Yeah. He talks about Daenerys being hypocritical, and here we are.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy and his dick jokes, god damn it.
It's just so not I mean, look, we're a dumbass podcast. This is like a fucking epic, mid to low fantasy.
No, but he's a dumbass.
Okay, so you like it.
No.
That's what you're telling me. No, you're telling me that you like it, and it's justified.
Listen. I think we talked about this last week, but Obara Sand is the greatest character in fiction history compared to this guy. Like, this guy is just the worst.
I had a good little joke that I wrote.
Oh, yeah, hit me. Yeah, lay it on me. We interrupt this podcast to bring you Zach's
it's not like
joke.
a punchline joke. It's just an observation.
Okay, yeah.
His horse, and this is a true statement. This is like not just meant to be funny, but it is funny. Euron's horse has way better costume design than he does.
Oh, I did not notice.
His horse looked badass, dude.
I would absolutely believe that in an instant because he has the worst fucking costume design ever.
They bought it at a fucking Party City, dude.
A fucking hot topic.
Yeah, that's true.
What we decided. Let's talk about Cersei. Because this is the only part of this scene that matters. Cersei is cold fucking blooded and like listen, understandably pissed.
Sure.
This is the woman that killed her daughter.
Yeah.
Whom she loved very, very much. Marcella was very sweet and kind.
Yeah, poor Marcella. R.I.P.
Yeah, seriously. But this is fucking brutal. I don't know what else to say about this. It's just like, damn, Cersei.
I've got some
her
notes.
vengeance. Okay.
Okay, so one, Cersei is a badass. She is hardcore.
Yeah.
And there is this very like faint bit of like, oh hey, there's still a human in Cersei for just a second.
At what part?
Well, so she's like just talking about like how hurt she was.
Oh, about Marcella. Yeah.
About Marcella. And then she quickly remembers, but that doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, okay, I'm back. But there is one thing here, Scott, that I really did not like.
What was that?
I felt like I was watching an anime villain. Her monologue was long, dude. Like, it just went on. And like, I think the intention, and people will probably say, and that's okay, we're all entitled to our opinions, even if they're wrong, that, Cersei was just relishing in this moment, and she is kind of broken now because, she's lost all of her children, that, this is her feeling something, this is her feeling, she's getting her vengeance and whatever, and I can respect all of that. But she talked so much and walked us through her entire thought process.
Yeah, she did.
And it was like, I literally am watching an anime villain right now. It was a little much for me.
Nah, I'm here for it. I didn't mind it.
Oh, man, that's weird. I did not like it.
I did. Yes, the fucking Euron parading through the streets took way too long. I thought this was fine. Like, yes, she did go on for a long time, but, I think she was...
Yeah.
She was relishing it. She was warranted in it.
Shouts out to young the sand snake chick is.
Yeah. All right.
She looks nice. Yeah.
Speaking of looking nice, Cersei does the killing, and then does the. I couldn't think of anything good. Zach, come up with a good joke. Come up with a good joke. Does the banging.
She does the killing, then does the bang.
Yeah, that's the best I got.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's real good. I'll take your applause later. Yeah, she's just through hiding, bro. Also, I gotta say, a little bit of poetic justice for Jaime, because Euron was being a real douchebag about fucking, what is Cersei like in bed and blah, 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 blah. But then, Jaime actually gets to go and, sleep with her.
Right.
What he wants.
This whole, like, I guess, section really reminded me of, like, it must be season 1, Bronn and Tyrion being like, you need a good fucking after a fight, or whatever he says.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Cersei's, I mean, it holds true for women too, you know? She's got to go get her some.
Cersei and Bronn, great minds thinking alike.
Great minds, yeah, truly. I also love that Jaime's like, I'm not really feeling it. And she's like, dude, stand up. I'm going to suck your dick. And he's like, okay.
I love him just laying in bed, like shirtless as the maid or looks, whatever, and like looks at him. And he's kind of just like, it would have been even better if she had like chained up. If he's just laying there like cuffed to the bedpost, also, that would have been amazing.
Can we acknowledge how the turns tables, if you know what I'm saying? Like, basically, like in these types of like romantic and like love, passionate scenes, it's always like in the morning, the woman is like, oh, just like staring at like the man, like, being real like cute and like, oh. And it's funny because like Cersei walks in and she's like, dude, we're fucking right now.
Get those pants off immediately.
Put it somewhere where my mouth can access it. And they obviously have a great night. And the scene cuts to Jaime just like, oh, like look at that.
Yeah, dude.
It's so great.
Oh man. Big wins for Jaime this episode. We'll
truly
get to more later.
Yeah.
And then she meets with the Iron Bank dude. I forget his name. Do you remember his name?
I didn't take note of it, but I like this scene a lot.
Yeah. She's, Cersei is doing what she did with like the rest of the people of the realm, basically, like, hey, Daenerys bad, like she's not going to pay any debts. She frees slaves and has dragons and she's evil. You should back me.
Right.
Which is the smart play for her. So.
What I really like obviously, yes, there's like, this is scheming, this is playing, this is working for these characters. But what I really like is more just like insight about this scene. Like in this type of fantasy, especially as it relates to like television, we don't really ever get the like economics of war very often. Like you'll hear about supply trains and like
mustering.
Excuse me, supply. Yeah, mustering. That's for Amanda. Supply chains and stuff like that. But like literally sitting with a bank and them talking about, well, we might invest in your like opposition.
This like, doesn't happen in most fantasy.
It's just not. Yeah, no. Like it almost brings this like modern element to like this fantasy. What is in a lot of people's brains like kind of a historical type of like interaction. It's just cool. Like you have to account for like the money and things like that, and it's just not really ever acknowledged.
Yeah.
I just like it. It's I think it's world building. And it's very good.
Completely agree. Let's quickly hit the Citadel and Winterfell before we wrap up with the end part here. I don't have much to say about Winterfell other than I don't know.
Bran's a psycho.
I was gonna say I don't know who's more of a psychopath, Littlefinger or Bran,
or Doctor Strange,
or Doctor Strange himself. Right everywhere, all at once
Dr.
in your
Finger,
mind,
dude.
I have looked into 67 million different possibilities,
dude.
What a
Dr. Finger is a great name, though.
Hey, I brought back the Littlefinger voice too. I just
hey, look at you, man of many voices, dude.
Fight everywhere at once,
dude. His delivery's so weird.
I love it.
Bro.
I see. I missed this type of Littlefinger. Like he's not had a lot of just weird monologues in a minute, and it's dumb as hell. But I do get a kick out of it.
Okay. I want to know what this conversation was in the writer's room. Like how did they decide, like, hey, we got to give this guy something?
Yeah, we need a scene with Sansa and Littlefinger. Oh, he can be creepy with her for a minute. Now we've done that the last 6 times that they've had a scene together. Well, then maybe he could like give her some advice
wisdom.
about
I don't know.
it's
Yeah, but let's just make it so cryptic that like nobody really questions it. How about
let's see if Bran can out creep Littlefinger. Challenge accepted.
It's so fucking weird. Okay, one thing I do need to point out.
Yeah.
It's Maester Walken, right? The
Yeah,
new
I think
Maester?
So yeah.
Maester Walken just casually dropping that Maester Luwin kept a copy of every Raven scroll ever, and Littlefinger doing the most Scooby-Doo ass like.
He literally did the dramatic gopher turn. And
dude, it should have. The camera should have zoomed in on his face.
Done.
Dude.
Oh my god. Dude, 100%. 100%.
It's so good, dude.
It's so fucking funny. By the way, briefly back to the Bran thing. He's talking and he's like, "Oh, I'm the three-eyed Raven," and
the three-eyed Raven.
Fuck, I thought I could sneak that one by. The three-eyed Raven, and I learned all these things. And he's talking. He's like, "I learned
also,
this.
I saw that you got fucking totally taken advantage of.
Let's not talk about that part.
Oh, it's so uncomfortable. I hate it.
It's so weird and bad. He says, "I learned it from the three-eyed Raven," and Sansa goes, "I thought you said you were the three-eyed Raven." And the normal, like, just logical response is be like, "Oh, the old one died, and now I'm him." But instead, Bran is just like, "It's difficult to understand." And I'm like, "It's not that difficult, my guy."
He's like,
the old one
dude,
died, and now it's you.
He's like, "I'm so far transcended from the fucking brain of common man that you just could never understand. You could never get that
died,
sometimes when someone dies, someone has to take their place. It's just a foreign concept."
I'm just telling you, Sansa, it's too complex for your brain, okay? You can't handle it. You're busy fighting every battle everywhere all at once. You can't handle what I got going on.
Dude.
It's
dude, okay, so I have this might be a little coy, but like I feel like this is an okay time to bring it up, and whatever, I'm not gonna explain myself.
Okay. Just fucking say it then.
Yeah. I was so looking forward to Bran showing up and just
dropping some truth bombs.
Yeah, which I mean, like, you know, I'm sure that will come. Some truth bombs will probably come because, you know, that is Bran's character. But like, I think there was just like so much buildup to this, like, Bran's this like fucking ethereal, mystical ass, not ethereal, but, you know, just like this weird unknown force and power. And now that he's finally back, and obviously this is a hindsight thing talking because we have watched the series, it's just so like, I don't know, the interest is completely gone. People were uninterested in Bran for a very long time because for rightful reasons. His story is very slow and monotonous and just like not really much happens. But there, in my opinion, there was always that like question of like, even though it's boring now, I feel like this is gonna be a big fucking deal.
There were flashes of brilliance too. Like we got to see the Tower of Joy through his eyes.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, just give us more of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
But once he shows up, it's just like,
well, listen, I think my bigger problem with Bran and the way his character is going is like, this seemingly happened over fucking night. Like his being the full-on creep-out weirdo. Because...
yes.
It happened in between seasons, but like, Cold Hands took him to the wall, and he was like fine and normal still. Relatively as normal as Bran Muffin can be. And then he shows up at the wall, which was like 30 feet away, new season, and starts creeping out my guy Ed, and is now creeping out Sansa, and it's just like, cannot hold a normal conversation anymore. And it's like, when did this happen?
And also, the previous Three-Eyed Raven was not a fucking creep-ass.
No, he was a little strange, but he wasn't this.
He was a fucking just old man with wisdom.
Yeah.
Like this guy should be able to hold a conversation. should be able to like tap into, hey, if you are all knowing now, you should be able to tap into like, what is human emotion?
It's
what
like,
is empathy? What is that thing that you felt last season? Like
hey, listen, I'm fine if they want to make him a little less emotional and more like cut and dry, like, you know, like this is just the way things
don't
are.
matter as much anymore because it's all set almost.
But this whole like, oh, you wouldn't understand bit and like,
it's bad.
Bringing up, the night of her.
It's bad.
I don't understand what the thought process.
Well, and that's what I'm saying about like, does this guy not understand empathy? Like, oh, I saw you that night with the snow and the white dress. I'm sorry for what happened. It's like, dude, are you just like, first off, like exploring a delicate subject like that is always difficult. But
hey, let me dredge up this past trauma for you.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck is that? Man. It's terrible. Man. It's terrible. I don't like it. There's a million and one ways for him to prove that he knows things.
Yeah.
Without it being that,
this
dude.
Ain't it.
Come on, man.
This ain't it. Just like, hey, you and Jon fighting for our home and taking it back. That was really cool. Good.
That was some shit. Glad you showed up with the Knights of the Vale.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to spend any longer on that. Let's briefly talk about the Citadel.
Yeah, Citadel's cool.
I really enjoyed. I know you and I have a history with Jorah, but I gotta say, I really enjoyed his whole thing here.
Yeah,
where Ebrose is like, "You seem to be cured," and all this, and Jorah's like, don't know anything about that.
Must have been the climate.
Must have been the rest. I just felt better. The climate, my guy. And Ebro's just like, the climate.
Hey, Sam, I need to talk to you later. But
yeah. It's very good. And then him and Sam, you know, the
great
shake,
scene.
Great fucking scene.
Yeah, my note is, I mean, it's very short, but it is literally just, I enjoy Jorah way more now while he's with Sam.
Yeah. Truly.
Just, it's like
100%.
Him talking about Dany and like his loyalty and like the way that he feels about how he needs to be there doesn't sit as like awkwardly with me than when he's with Dany and like being this simp with somebody like more than half his age, you know, like, or less than half of his age.
More than half his age. 100%. I don't have much else to say there, but good for Sam, good for Jorah. Okay, last thing.
No, sorry, one last thing. I'm sorry. Maybe I should
save it.
I'm gonna be coy again.
Fucking hate you sometimes.
The Ebros telling Sam like, oh, what, you thought you'd be rewarded, and like how he assigns him the task of like rewriting all these books. Do you think that that's like because he's giving him old books, and Ebros knows what Sam wants to research while he's there. Do you think that is his own subtle way of rewarding him? Like, here, work on these.
So. I think you're reading that into that a little too much.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's
giving Sam more shit to do.
That you very well may be right, but also like,
dude, he basically tells him, "Hey, paper mites are going to eat your flesh." Also, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think that's his subtle reward at all. Okay, Dragonstone leading into this last section here. What do you agree with Missandei and Tyrion about like, hey, don't take your dragons out to destroy Euron's fleet? That's a bad idea. I just want your take on that.
I mean, she's done it before, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Like, I get it's a little different when it's like an armada of that size. Like, yes, the chances of her getting hit go up, but also like, you're here with your dragons, and that is a huge reason as to, one, it worked in the past, and two, like you have a leg to stand on. Like you're gonna need to use your dragons.
You're gonna need to use those dragons if you want to win the Seven Kingdoms at some point. And I get it. This is probably just like the writer's way of like we gotta put Daenerys in the healing tank for a fucking little bit. We can't have her involved in this fight yet.
Right.
But yeah, and I get it. I just wanted to see what you thought.
Fucking
about
hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah, we gotta put her in the hyperbolic time chamber for a bit. Okay, so the Unsullied take Casterly Rock, but it was a ruse.
Do you like this?
The
Unsullied like taking the rock?
Well, I don't love the way it was shot and filmed.
That's what I'm asking. Like the Tyrion voiceover thing.
Yeah, and listen, I'm sure they were trying to save budget for elsewhere, but it looked janky, and it was like they were doing that whole like Ocean's 11 thing of like, oh, this is what they think will happen, but this is what is actually happening.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't a caper movie, my guys.
What is really just like, it just pisses me off really when I'm thinking about, like, because you mentioned the budget. It's like, all right, so we're not going to see the full capturing of Casterly Rock. We're going to get this weird voiceover thing, which, like, it's not bad. It's just, I would have loved to see more.
Yeah.
But then we're also not going to see the Lannisters taking Highgarden?
No, see, that's the part I do like.
That it wasn't even a battle? Or what do you like? What do you like?
Well, specifically, I think like just the second half of the sequence where it shows them riding up with the army after we know, what the ruse was and what happened. And then I really loved the long shot take of like just behind Jaime as he like walked through the aftermath of Highgarden.
Oh, okay, sure. So there's a good shot.
Yes.
But I guess what I'm saying is, like, if we're cutting back,
very good, to be fair.
Sure,
love that sequence.
But if we're cutting back,
well, you know what they're cutting back
I know,
for,
but
and
still,
it's coming up very soon.
You're gonna fucking blow your load on that shit? Like, it's just like, I don't know, like, Highgarden, mind you, Highgarden has never been painted as this like like war thing. But I guess here's something I don't like.
Okay.
Jaime walks into the room with Olenna, and the whole like description of the battle is, oh, we were never really good at that.
See, no, I like that they leaned into that.
That's just not fair, man. That's just not cool. Like, this is an entire fucking kingdom we're talking about.
Olenna being like, it was never a forte. Please, tell me we held our own at least a little bit. And Jaime's like, and she's like, it was never a forte.
I think that's true to character for Olenna, but what I don't like is that doesn't do justice to their house or their region or their men, for it being an explanation to us as to what happened there. Like,
do we need like a justification for their region and their men?
Okay. We get a hell of a fucking crash course on the way that war works with Olenna walking the class through what the fuck happened with the whole like bait and switch thing that Jaime pulled with Casterly Rock.
Sure.
Which annoyed the absolute fuck out of me.
I don't okay.
But like, if the writers are going to take so much time to explain things, which they do a lot in this season,
yes,
the explanation of why that was just a fucking wax is just, oh, we were never really that good at it. It's just like not cool, man. The Tyrells are cool. They're powerful. They should have it should have been more. It's not cool to the house.
See, I don't know where you're getting this notion that the Tyrells are that good of an army. Like, yes, they're a rich house, but like, who is leading them, Zachary?
Well, it's not that, but like,
is it gonna be guy that? Mace Tyrell has been leading.
Is it? Well,
so
you're right. You
how
know what?
competent do you think they really are? Shouts to my boy Mace, R.I.P. I love you to death. But really, how competent can an army led by Mace Tyrell really be?
It's just
this isn't the Tywin army.
It should be a big army.
Oh my god. I'll tell you where I do have the problem and issue with this. Not with any of the bullshit you're talking about.
Oh my God. Okay.
But with, why didn't Euron destroy the fleet with all the Unsullied soldiers
in them
on it? Yeah, like then she'd be short an Unsullied army also. Like, could he just not teleport there in time from King's Landing?
Dude, what's funny is like I wanted to talk about that. Like, I know that we justify the quick travel, the fast travel thing that has to happen in this season and other seasons.
Yeah.
But you understand that
no, it's fine. Jaime was just getting head in King's Landing.
The Unsullied forces set sail prior to. Well, they all set sail
at the same time as the Dornish and the Greyjoys,
and the Greyjoys had enough time to engage in battle.
Yeah, that is a little
and catch up. Look, that is an issue.
They had enough time to engage that fleet, go off to King's Landing.
Well,
for a
okay,
pit
is
stop.
it that unfathomable that they can't split up a little bit? Like, I'm just saying
that was like his flagship, though. They specifically showed that shit. They showed Euron's
his
big badass ship. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Unless
take
they
it as
have
that.
two identical ships. I don't know.
Whatever. Okay.
It doesn't matter. Jaime was getting a nice old fashioned in King's Landing, and now he's at Highgarden. It's fine. It's whatever. But again, I'm just like, wait, why couldn't you destroy the ships with the army in the ships? Yeah.
It
doesn't matter. I want to talk about. Well, I kind of already talked about how great the Jaime walking through Highgarden is. That shot rules. I love that. But Olenna and Jaime. Because I think this is, I'd say this is probably my favorite scene in the episode.
Oh yeah, come on. This is a great scene. This might be a top scene. This
might be as close as season 7 comes to getting on that list.
Oh yeah. The only thing that takes me out of it is I really legitimately do not like the step-by-step walkthrough of like how a bait and switch works. I was like, come on, what like.
I didn't love it.
It's already been explained. Tyrion did the voiceover. There's less people there. The fucking Grey Worm picks up the guy that's dying, and he's like, "They're not here." And it's just like the audience knows why are we doing this?
I didn't hate it as much as you did, obviously, because I like the fact that Jaime brings up the Whispering Wood and how Robb basically did more or less the same thing to him.
Sure,
because then that transitions into him learning from his mistakes and Olenna hitting him with the, "Oh, well, you must be very wise by now then," which is such a fucking great,
truly, dude.
Legendary bird. Like, she literally does not miss.
My favorite,
she's so cool.
I think maybe my favorite part is that was Joffrey's sword, wasn't it? What is it called? And he's like, "Widow's Wail," and she's like, "God, he was a cunt, wasn't he?"
Yeah.
It's so good.
I also love just the very
honest.
Honest and open conversation she tries to have with him about Cersei, about how
he loves
Cersei's you love her, but she's gonna destroy you. She's gonna destroy this realm. And Jaime's like, maybe, but that's not really, I shouldn't really talk about this with you. And she comes back with, who better? Like,
it's never going to leave this room.
It's never going to leave this room.
Yeah.
If you need to get something off your chest, my guy.
Because I do.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, by the way, let me hit you with some
My turn.
My turn. Ooh, me next.
I, Amanda was sitting right next to me when we were watching this, and dude, it was just like, oh, that's this episode. That's right, I forgot. And her, will there be pain? And he's like, no, I made sure of it. She's like, sick.
Yeah.
Fucking chug, dude.
Yeah.
And she's like, so now that we're past that,
yeah.
just so you know.
Yes.
Dude. It's
very, very good. I like this last sequence a whole lot. More than you, I think.
I the only part I have issue with is the whole, play-by-play thing. And even though it takes me out a little bit, this is probably still the best scene of the series, or excuse me, of the season.
Definitely so far. Like I can't remember everything off the top of my head for these the last half of this season, but we shall see. Any other final thoughts, Zachy boy, before we jump into that other thing that we do here at the end?
I think it's time for Who Be Thrown In, bud.
I think it is time for Who Be Thrown In. God damn it. Why do I always do that now?
Why don't you just remove that from your fucking OBS?
Because I might need it again later, Zachary. You don't understand the difficulties that I have of production. So last week, this was a fucking shit show, and I don't know how you conned me into this, but mark my words, Zachary, I have thought about it this week, and we are not leaving this podcast. I will turn this podcast around until I get my way. So be forewarned. Be ready for a fight, motherfucker.
What does turn this podcast around?
You know what it means. Didn't your... I almost said, didn't your dad ever say, I will turn this car around? Anyway, where we last left it, Euron Bam. One of those guys had taken the 5th spot. Varys was at 4.
It's a good joke, Scott. Fuck you.
Yeah, sorry. It wasn't even a joke. Jon Snow was at 3. Jaime Lannister was at 2. And Daenerys, Stormborn Targaryen, Breaker of Chains, titles, had taken the number 1 spot. Okay.
Breaker of my balls, dude.
Truly. Okay, Euron is coming off. Varys can come down. He had a pretty decent scene, but he's not going to make the list.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Zach, okay, while I'm doing this, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you something. These 3 I'll bring down. Daenerys, Jon, and Jaime, but leave them up for
Wait,
now.
did you take Euron off?
Yes, I did. Zachary, I have 4 absolute stone cold lead pipe locks of the century of the week.
Okay, well, Cersei's
in my
one.
head that I will not quit this podcast until they are on this list. So just be aware of that. You've got 1 spot to fight for, Mike.
I'm assuming that you are also picking Davos.
He is one of the ones fighting for a 5th. I will say that, but not one of my locks. Do you want me just to tell you what the locks are?
Well, now I want to guess.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and guess.
Okay, well, so Cersei's one.
Yes, obviously.
Jaime is also another.
Yes, obviously.
Are we going Jon?
No. Jon is far from a lock in my mind.
Are we going Dany? No.
Daenerys does not make this list.
No, I don't think so.
She takes a buttload of L's.
I don't think she does. You're absolutely right. Olenna?
Olenna is 1. Absolutely.
So I have 3 of your 4?
Yes. She goes out like too big of a boss to possibly miss this list. Small part in this episode, but you denied me of him last episode, and I will not be denied again. Come on, Zach.
I have no idea what
you
the
did
fuck
not let me give him credit
for
curing Jorah of Grayscale last week. Well, guess what, motherfucker? He cured Jorah of Grayscale.
No,
it's just a general all-around great dude.
You're right. He did something that's never been done before. I'm totally okay with this.
He's a fucking lock.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 that in my opinion, have to make the list. The other ones, do you have anyone that you would also like to think maybe could slide it in at 5?
I mean, I do think that Tyrion and Jon both had good scenes, but I'm sorry, Tyrion, Jon, and Davos. And I like Davos a lot, but like it.
I love Davos. I
don't know that.
There's a decent amount of characters with a strong case, and I don't know if he's going to quite make it.
Okay,
honestly,
let's start this off here. Let's stop talking contenders. Let's start placing, because I think we've got at least our first 3 up there.
Yes. Okay. So I'm of 2 minds about number 1. Number 1, I think it's undeniable that Cersei made the biggest gains. Like,
yeah, in my opinion, it's Cersei, Jaime 1 and 2. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes, what I'm trying to parse out here is the order.
Well, that's what it is for me. 1 and 2, Cersei, Jaime.
Okay, hear me out. Cersei
Do I
definitely... I fucking hate you so much sometimes. I hope you piss your pants. Cersei definitely, like, all around wins, especially with, like, the vengeance thing. But Jaime also, like, all around wins, and he just had way better scenes. So that would be my argument for him possibly going 1. I'm not opposed to either one, but I don't think we should just dismiss Jaime's case out of hand.
Well, we're not, because he's making the list at 2.
If you literally didn't listen to what I said.
No, but he's making the list at 2.
I said specifically to dismiss his case for number 1, okay. Zachary.
I get it. But he's doing everything in the name of Cersei. Like, he
got a nice old-fashioned, though.
Yeah, I take that more as, like, a Cersei win. She wanted her some. She got her some.
It's a win for both of them. Okay. Specifically, the Jaime learning from his mistakes, being an incredible military mind, and having the best scene of the episode with Olenna.
These are all strong cases. I just feel like Cersei making her agreement with the Iron Bank is massive.
Sure. Although...
It's also a very good scene.
It's a good scene.
I think it's a very good scene. It's very Tywin. And I loved it.
That deal, it kind of hasn't fully gone through yet, though. Kind of like how Jorah hasn't fully really been cured of grayscale.
Okay. Well,
so
at the end of the scene, it's decided that she's convinced them.
Well, she has to pay her debts first.
Okay. So there's that. She gets revenge.
That's her biggest, yeah. If
she gets revenge for Marcella.
That's the biggest win.
Yeah, and she's still on the throne. She had good scenes. You're right. Jaime did have a better scene. Olenna had a better scene. But she still had good scenes. She's on the Iron Throne. She got her revenge.
Yeah, but you called her a crazy anime villain.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the excessively long monologue. Doesn't mean that it wasn't good.
Wait, you literally just said you didn't like it.
Like, I don't like the fact that we got a monologue, but like it wasn't done badly. Like, she was still excellent in it.
Well, yeah, Lena Headey is always excellent.
She was like, dude, I'm trying to fuck, and she went and fucked. Like, she got her.
That's you're bringing up also a win for Jaime there. You can't like.
Jaime was like reluctant. A math equation. No, Jaime was reluctant. Cersei wanted it. She went and got it, and she needs to be given credit for that.
It's a math equation. All of their combined wins cancel each other out. So now we're looking at Jaime's badass scene with Olenna.
I'm not doing PEMDAS over fucking who be throwing.
Versus,
okay?
What the fuck is PEMDAS?
The order of operations.
Oh, I was the worst at algebra. But let me explain this algebra equation for my argument.
Oh my God.
So we're left with Jaime's badass scene with Olenna and him being a phenomenal military mind versus you not liking Cersei as an anime villain. Because all of their other like stuff, okay, Cersei getting her vengeance. All their other stuff is wins for both of them.
I need to point out what an absolute bitch you're being right now, Scott, because you were like, I don't care who's 1 or 2. I don't really care. And then I make a decision on what should tip the scale. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to argue everything.
First of all, motherfucker, you don't get to make the decision. As we talked about it, I convinced myself that Jaime does, in fact, have a stronger case. Okay. And also, Mr. being such a bitch, I have let you had your way for like 6 weeks in a row.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Jaime's one.
I don't know.
I have hereby decreed and decided because you know what, bitch? I have the power of Grayskull.
All right.
On my side.
Wait, what did you say?
By the power of Grayskull.
Hell yeah, dude. You have the power of anime and God on your side.
Yes,
also.
truly. Okay, Jaime won, Cersei 2.
That's fine. I mean, I'm arguing to make a case. Like they both are great.
Arguing to be a bitch. I can see Sam or Olenna next.
Well, I think by your argument, we've got to go Olenna.
Her scene is really good.
Like that's what's like in my opinion, that is what tips Jaime over Cersei, and she was. You want to talk about algebra? She was the other half of it. Hey,
Jaime.
Yeah, but she goes out in the most baller way we've ever seen.
Okay, that's true. She does have.
She's got to get her some.
She's got like
this
a
is her
top
last
3
chance.
baller death in the series. Okay, Sam goes 4, easy 4 then I think. So now we're looking at what Jon, Davos. Here's one you may not like, but Jorah. He literally got cured of grayscale.
Yeah, but we gave that win to Sam. And fuck Jorah.
Yeah, but we said it ourselves, like, we actually liked Jorah in this episode.
Well, okay, for the fucking 2 minutes he was in the episode. So, look, here, I think my case is with Jon. I think it goes to Jon. Jon does have an excellent scene with Dany, a second excellent scene with Dany. Like, and in these scenes, it also highlights everything we love about his character. Like, I think he's the winner.
You don't want Euron banned?
Well, I mean, if you let me make the case, I'm sure I can find a reason.
I think you're probably right. As much as I love to give Davos his flowers, and I always want him to be on the list, I think this is just a very quietly strong episode from Jon, and a good place for him to be.
Kit Harington really had great stuff this episode.
He's such a sexy brooder, dude. He's so good at it. Okay, I like that. We'll end with that. That leaves us with Jon Snow at number 5, Sam at 4, Lady Olenna at 3, Cersei at 2, and Jaime. No, he's gotten a first before. I was trying to think if he'd ever gotten a first place before, but I'm pretty sure he has. What a list, Zach. I'm glad we agreed and that there was no strife there whatsoever and that everything is hunky-dory. What in our terribly shitty rating system, I mean, the best rating system ever, are you going to give?
Best that's ever existed.
The best that's ever existed, are you going to give?
I think I'm going to go solid 6.5, maybe 7.
I was thinking exactly 6.5, you dirty dick.
Let's just touch tips on our 6.5.
Can I retroactively go back and give the last 2 episodes like a 2s?
Sure, yeah. This is our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
This episode only being like a 1.5 better than the others also does not sit right. But
you're onto something, Scott.
Yeah, yeah. But also, like, I know, like, decently solid episodes in the past have been, like, 7-ish range. You know what? Like, talking it through, I don't have much to complain about with this episode.
Yeah, I think I had a couple more issues than you did, and they were minor, too. Like, they really weren't things that, like, broke the episode
I think
anyway.
I'm going to go 7.5. I think this is a very solid episode, especially when you take season 7 into account.
Okay. You know what? I'll go 7.
Okay. Way to copy me.
Yeah, I mean, no, you made sense.
True, I do that a lot, especially with Jaime going 1. Hell yeah, bitch.
Yeah, I think that's going to do it for us tonight. We appreciate you guys for listening, watching, and doing all the things that you do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you guys are new here. If you don't already know, if you haven't figured it out, we talk about Game of Thrones every week. You can hit us up on the Twitter and Instagram at We Don't Want a Pod, and you can join our Discord. Send us a DM or
Hurry,
something.
It's hot in here.
It's getting hot in there. I love you guys, and Scott, fuck you. We'll see you guys next time.
My headphones are caught.
Fuck you.